Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Gross. I'm the board attorney, and since this is the board reorganization meeting, I will be conducting this meeting until the board has elected a president to preside over the meeting this evening. So we're going to start with the Sunshine Law. Please be advised that this meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and that adequate notice of the date, time, and agenda has been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger. It's been posted and filed with the Marlboro Township clerk. Copies have also been sent to each district school and area newspapers in accordance with law. We also have a statement of videotaping of public portion of the board meeting, that the public portion of the board meetings are videotaped and available for public viewing on our website. In addition, please note that our security personnel are wearing body cameras that will record any and all interactions with security personnel. Therefore, members of the public should have no expectations of privacy in any statements that they make when addressing the board, administration, or the security personnel. We also have a public comments statement that, pursuant to board policies 164 and 167, Robert's Rules of Order shall govern the Board of Education in its deliberation and in the conduct of its meetings. As such, all comments from the public and from other members of the board shall be directed to the board president, who is responsible for presiding over the meeting. The president shall direct all inquiries of comments to the appropriate administrator or board member for response. After all members of the public have had an opportunity to speak, the board and the administration may not have a response for all inquiries at the public meeting. In those circumstances, a response will be provided in a timely manner. Per board policy, if it appears that the public participation will exceed 60 minutes, the board president may impose a set time limit per speaker at the beginning of the public participation portion of the meeting. Moreover, the president may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement when the statement is too lengthy, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. In addition, the president may request any individual to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum, whether that person is at the microphone or at any other place in the meeting room or building. New Jersey law prohibits any person from disrupting a public meeting. Law enforcement will be contacted if a person disrupts the meeting and fails to desist after being directed to do so by the board president or superintendent. Finally, out of respect, we ask that you refer to our administrators or staff members by their titles, such as Dr., Mr., or Mrs. Thank you. We also have a no vaping or smoking on school grounds policy, which is also state law, and I would ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this point in the meeting, I'd like to announce the results of the election from the November 14, 2025 general election for school board officials. The top three winning candidates were Carrie Ann Jankowski with 7,438 votes, Melissa Goldberg with 7,059 votes, and Michael Olansky with 6,804 votes. At this time, I would administer the oath of office to those winning candidates. Mike, you want to do first? Oh. One at a time is fine.
I, Carrie Ann Jankowski, do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and to the governments established in the United States and this state, under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Carrie Ann Jankowski, do solemnly affirm that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education, and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19-4-1, nor disqualified due to a conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18-12-1, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you so much.
I, Michael Malonsky, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Michael Malonsky, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of the Board of Education, and am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19-4-1, or disqualified due to a conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18-8-12-1, and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
At this point in time, I'm going to call the roll. As soon as I get my cheat sheet. Ms. Belomo.
Here.
Mr. Cohen.
Here.
Ms. Carrera.
Here.
Ms. Gandhi.
Here.
Mr. Hyatt.
Here.
Mr. Lalanski.
Here.
Ms. Dr. Meskowitz.
Here.
And Ms. Jankowski.
Here.
We have a quorum. I would also note at this point that I am ready to enter the oath of office for the other successful candidate, Melissa Goldberg. Is she here this evening? Okay. So we have 8 members present and 1 member who has not taken the oath of office as of this evening. Thank you. Now I'll move on to the election for the president of the Board of Education, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands the rules upon which we will be following, which are consistent with our bylaws, which fall under bylaw number 152. How we're going to do this is I'm going to open the floor for nominations. You can certainly nominate as many people as you would like. We will then close the nominations. If there are more than 1 nomination under your bylaws, people have the ability to make a statement in support of their candidacy, and then we will take a vote in the order in which people were nominated, and you will vote for the person that you want to vote for that have been nominated, or not, as many nominations as there are. Once there is a majority of 5 votes for a single candidate, the election will have been completed and the office of president will be filled and they will take the seat. Okay? We're all good? We're all good? Sure.
If we make a nomination for president, can we just make a statement of why we're nominating for president?
That's not what it says in your bylaws. Again, I've only attended one of these in the past, so I'm not sure what your tradition or your past practice, for lack of a better word,
I believe
is.
last year there were statements.
Yeah,
right,
again,
of
so if you'd want to do that,
somebody
again, I
wanted to
don't
nominate
see a
somebody else?
problem with it. I'm just saying it's not
Okay.
consistent with the bylaws. It doesn't talk about that. It only talks about the candidate or the person put up for nomination certainly has an opportunity if there's more than one candidate put up for nomination. So I'm going to open the floor for nominations. Yes, Dr. Maskowitz.
I nominate Brian Cohn for president, please.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Yes.
I have something to say, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay with that? Okay. I nominate Danielle Bellomo for president. I have seen many reorganization meetings and listened carefully to the reasons given for nominating board leadership. Each year, the same familiar phrases are repeated: professional experience, integrity, and ability to reach across the aisle, works well with others, proven leader, and unifier, to name just a few. While these qualities are admirable, repeating them does not make them meaningful, nor does saying them aloud necessarily make it true. Serving as board president is no small task, especially in this district. It is unpaid and demanding. Danielle has successfully led a PTO as president for many years. Because the president speaks for the board, I expect the highest standards of professionalism, neutrality, ethical conduct, humility, and respect. Most importantly, I expect the president to represent my voice and the voices of this community thoughtfully and responsibly. I am particular about how I am represented. My Board of Education president does not represent my character, however, should represent the wisdom I would like in thoughtful decision-making. My nomination is not an indignant jab of any other board member's character or capability. Rather, it is grounded in two clear observations. First, Danielle received over 10,000 votes from this community. Appointing her as president places the majority voice directly in the chair that speaks for the board. That fact alone deserves serious consideration. Second, and equally important, I observed a troubling pattern in our meetings. Danielle has often been dismissed or treated with visible and visceral contempt, sometimes to the point where productive discussion is replaced by pettiness. One clear example occurred when she was denied attendance at a professional development training. The irony of a Board of Education prohibiting education was perplexing to me, to say the least. The most recent observation came during a discussion about our students' breakfast options, when a reasonable suggestion regarding nutrition devolved into a prolonged trivial debate rather than a constructive response. Seriously, there was a debate whether they were serving a fruit cup or a cup of fruit or a fruit in a cup. The absence of humility and the abandonment of the connection to our community for the sake of prioritizing personal pride over students' best interests was deeply concerning. That is not the culture I support nor the leadership I expect. Courage, after all, is not the absence of fear, but action in spite of it. The same is true of a real unifier, a true professional, and a believer in respectful discourse. They lead with integrity when it is difficult, stressful, and patience is thin. A true unifier doesn't retreat in intense moments when it would be easier to turn your back on promises in the face of peer pressure. I am nominating Danielle because I believe this board needs a shift, one that challenges us to honor our promises of unity above all and to place students before egos. My hope is that voting Danielle as board president and the 10,000 voices she represents in this role will help bring about that change. I make this request with an open and grateful heart to my community for being elected and a deep desire to work with a unified board for all of our students and staff.
Any other nominations? I'm going to close the floor for nominations. And as I said, under your bylaws, since we have 8 board members present, it will take 5 votes for any single candidate for the office to be filled, because that would be a majority of the members present and voting. What I'm going to do is, since there are 2 candidates and under your bylaws, Mr. Cohen, do you have anything that you would like to say?
Thank you. I accept the nomination, that's first off, and I appreciate the confidence in Dr. Miskowitz to sort of do this for a second term. I also appreciate some of the comments that our newest board member, Ms. Jankowski, has made, and I look at those as sort of being a sort of a North Star in a lot of ways. I think we all want to sort of achieve some of those standards that you articulated. As an individual, I believe very highly in leadership. I spent an entire career working to develop leadership skills. I don't think anyone ever really fully develops their leadership skills in a lifetime. It takes a long time to sort of get to that point. So I think we all continue to learn as leaders throughout. And I think last year was continued to add to my leadership as a individual, as a board member, and as the board president. I also believe in integrity, and I believe integrity is much more important, especially when it's not sort of overtaken by personal agenda. I do not have a personal agenda. I sat in this seat a year ago and made it very clear that I come to this meeting, I come to these positions, I come to the role of president to sort of support the district, to listen to everyone's voice, and to sort of make decisions and sort of help guide decisions based upon what's in the best interest of the district, the board, and overall for Marlboro. So I do not have a personal agenda. I will continue, if elected, to lead that way and guide us, continue to work with our district administration and Mr. Malone, and do whatever I can to sort of make Marlboro and our Marlboro School District a better district. And if I'm not elected president, then I will certainly continue to serve this community and serve this board with the same level of integrity and the same level of commitment. So, thank you.
Ms. Belomo?
Yeah. First, I want to say thank you to Carrie. It's really rewarding to hear those words from someone that before tonight was a member of our community watching. So thank you for that. I've served this district for 2 years now as a board member and almost a decade as a volunteer in the schools. Even when recently faced with challenges that I could have never imagined, I've continued to show up and to advocate because the children and families of Marlboro deserve that. These schools hold a profound place in my heart. Aside from being a mother to children in the district, I've been serving our schools long before I ever sat at this table. I love to get to know our students, our staff, and the families that have their children and entrust them with the school district. I bring real leadership experience to this role, and I can also bring results. I've worked on meaningful improvements in the curriculum, policy, and buildings and grounds, and closely with Mr. Caravello on the Buildings and Grounds chair to ensure that improvements were up to date and that the children get the schools that they deserve and our taxpayers see the reward of their taxes in this town. What sets me apart from the other candidate tonight is my boots on the ground approach to this Board of Education position. I spend time in our schools, a lot of time in our schools, and I spend time with the families out on the playground and in the kids' schools and in the community. Not just during the meetings, but actually in real life. I believe that good leadership doesn't live behind a title. It lives with presence and consistency and follow through. I believe that my approach rooted in parental rights and local control really has shown my heart to this community. I make decisions based on the people, not on procedure or policy, but really what serves each Marlboro citizen and student correctly. Parents matter and families matter, and our community deserves a board president who understands that decisions about our children should be made here by this community, not handed down from the state or under some titles or procedural conditions that were given to us on a broad spectrum. If I am chosen as president, I'll lead with transparency, inclusion, and accountability. I will work to restore the trust that some have said is lost in this board. Meetings under our last presidency were routinely out of control. clear procedures were not enforced, board members were not protected, and lines were crossed. There was no consistent effort to maintain any type of professionalism, safety, or respect. A president's role is not to react emotionally or selectively, it is to lead impartially and set boundaries, and that did not happen. The impact went far beyond this table. I hope that this board chooses its president not based on friendships or alliances or secrets that need to be kept, but based on who is willing to do the work. The work when we're faced with hard truths, and the work that genuinely serves this district and these children. I love this community, I love serving it, and I am committed to continuing to fight for our children and our families, no matter what it takes, and I am committed to the future of Marlboro schools. Thank you.
Thank you. So again, under your bylaws, the way we're going to proceed is I'm just going to call the roll, and you can either say Mr. Cohen or Ms. Belemo, either one. We don't have to do a yes or no vote here. Just call out the name of the candidate who has been nominated that is of your preference, and we'll go through the roll call that way. That's what your bylaws state. Okay, so we're going to start. Mr. Cohen?
I vote for myself, Mr. Cohen.
Ms. Belemo?
I vote for myself, Danielle Buomo.
Ms. Carrera?
I vote for Mr. Cohen.
Ms. Gandhi?
I vote for Mr. Cohen.
Mr. Hyatt?
Mr. Cohen.
Mr. Lalansky?
Mrs. Bellomo?
Ms. Meskowitz?
I vote for Mr. Cohen.
Ms. Jankowski?
Ms. Bellomo.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 4. Mr. Cohen, you were elected president of the board. Congratulations. Thank you for taking the gavel away from me.
Thank you. I said this last year, I'll say it again this year, which is I really hope we don't start or finish our year off as a divided board, but more as a unified board. And again, the votes unfortunately seem to always split in a way in which it sort of represents sort of more division than it does unification. So I do hope that we wind up in a more unified state. And we can achieve that not only for ourselves, but for the district, as well as for this community. So with that, I will continue to move us along on our agenda, which is to begin to open up the floor for nominations for vice president under our bylaws of 0152. We follow the same process, which we will take nominations for the position of board vice president. If there is more than one, then obviously they will have an opportunity to speak. And then we will continue through the voting process for vice president. So with that, I'll open the floor for vice president nominations.
Can I ask a question quickly?
Yes.
If someone is nominated and there's a potential that we want to nominate the same person and we prepared remarks for that, can we also give our remarks on that nomination?
It's the same process that we followed for the president, then we would follow for the vice president, if I'm understanding you correctly, which is if you'd like to nominate someone and make comment about the nomination.
So can we nominate the same person over and make our comments? Like, can we enter the same nomination so I can make my comments if someone else also nominates the same person?
The nomination doesn't require a second, so whoever nominates the person would, under the way we've been doing this, well, let me finish. The way we've been doing this is whoever nominates the person has an opportunity to make a statement about that.
Right. In the okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Whoever that candidate is, when they are given an opportunity to speak on their behalf, they'd be given an opportunity to speak on their behalf. So whoever nominates the person first would get to speak about that person, and then the candidate would get to speak on their own behalf when we go through the process of the election itself.
So in years past, there was ability to have discussion like that we can give our comments. So we're not doing that this year. I'm just trying to understand if we've changed from the last time I did this and witnessed, saw in the past.
I'm just following what the bylaws say.
So does it say that we can't give the comments? I'm just trying to understand.
Doesn't say that we can't give
Okay, so
comments.
I'm
It
asking
it says that it's supposed to nominate somebody. It doesn't require a second.
Okay.
It doesn't even
No,
say you're
no
allowed to
problem.
make a comment about it, so if you want to make a comment about it, we've said that would be permissible. And if the board wants to make everybody be able to make a comment, I'm not sure what you're actually asking.
Yeah, just make a comment about someone who's possibly going to be nominated. That's, to give your take on
I
the
leave that,
situation.
I leave that to, again, the bylaws don't address either of those things, but
Okay,
you
so
can do
it's
it,
the
you can
decision.
conduct it however you'd like.
Gotcha. Thank you. So,
Okay, so I'll again, moving on with the discussion, I'll open the floor for nominations for Vice President. Dr. Miskowitz.
I nominate Jenna Carrero for Vice President.
Anyone else? Any other nominations? Ms. Jankowski.
And a comment again. Thank you. I want to nominate and support Michael Lalansky for Vice President. Michael has consistently demonstrated steady leadership and the ability to work collaboratively with his fellow board members, even when there are differing viewpoints. He listens, he engages thoughtfully, and he approaches discussions with respect and professionalism. Those qualities matter, especially in a role that requires a consensus in helping the board move forward together. I have not only seen this as a public member in the audience, but having served alongside Michael during my 2023 appointment. Let's not forget that Michael has years of experience being board president and vice president, winning several nominations. Michael has shown that he can lead without division. Given how last year unfolded and the importance of stability and cooperation, I believe Michael is the right choice for vice president. I appreciate Michael's self-discipline in communicating. He offers his opinion in a respectful manner and leaves it with the members to process and either accept it or reject it. He does not engage in negativity back and forth during these meetings or online. For those reasons, I strongly support his nomination.
Any other nominations for Vice President? Seeing no other nominations for Vice President, we will now give the two candidates an opportunity.
You're going to close nominations.
We'll close nominations, and we'll give the two candidates an opportunity to sort of make a statement. Mr. Lalansky, would you like to go first, or Ms. Carrero, either one?
Sure.
First, I'd like to thank Carrie for your kind words, recognizing my contributions over the 14 years of service so far on this board. It would be my pleasure to work together again with our board president to get us to a place where we can all agree to disagree at times, have meaningful discussions, and after the vote, reset and move on to the next item. In order to spend our valuable time doing what we all were elected to do, great things for our students, staff, and residents, this is the way to accomplish that, folks. Having served as both president and vice president for multiple terms gives me the ability to step in whenever needed in the event the president is unable to, just as I did for Ms. Mendez when she was unavailable due to travel. I've always had an excellent working relationship with fellow leadership and all three superintendents that I interacted with in my leadership positions, having both been president and vice president, 3 times president, 2 times vice president. If chosen, I look forward to working closely together with our president. And I thank you all for your support and consideration in the possible vote. Thank you.
Ms. Carrero, if you'd like to make a statement.
Yes, I don't have anything prepared, so I'm just going to read my muddled writing here. So I grew up in Marlboro. I am a product of this school system. I have 2 kids in the school system at the moment. I grew up to be in education. I was a public school teacher. I'm in educational technology. I'm a doctoral student. And I have roots in this town. Throughout my time this past year on the board for the first time, I've always shown that I am thoughtful, reflective, and respectful. And I think that that is a way to really kind of bring us together to collaborate, and bring out our ideas creatively to actually work on the board business as we need to for our community, our teachers, admins, staff, students. So in the spirit of unity, I would like to bring all of the things that I work at an institution where we were, and other ones that we were very broken, and I'm president of the staff association, and so we do a lot of morale and team building, and I would like to get to a point where we can bring some of those components into the work that we do.
Thank you. I will now turn it over to our board attorney to run the vote.
Okay, we're going to call roll the same way that we did the last time. So you could either say Mr. Lalanski or Ms. Carrero.
Can you just ask Mrs. Miskowitz to turn off her microphone because it's making a regurgitation?
Sure.
Thank you.
All good? Better? Great. Okay. Ms. Belemo?
Michael Olansky.
Ms. Carrero?
If I may, myself.
Ms. Gandhi?
Mrs. Carrero.
Mr. Hyatt?
Ms. Carrero.
Mr. Lalanski?
Myself, Michael Orlowski.
Dr. Miskowitz?
Mrs. Carrero.
Ms. Jankowski?
Mr. Lalanski.
And President Cohen?
Ms. Carrero.
Okay. 5-3.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Carrero. All right. The next part of our meeting is to adjourn for an executive session. I know that there are family here who probably would like to sort of just get together with their newly appointed board members and congratulate them. So we'll take a few minutes before we go into executive session to give everyone a chance to sort of, say goodbye or to sort of, congratulate or take pictures. But before we go into executive session, we'll be going in for 4 items: matter of attorney-client privilege, a personnel matter, a meet and greet, and a discussion for the MTSMA, which is a labor organization. So with that, I need a motion to go into executive session. Dr. Miskowitz, can I have a second, please? Mr. Hyatt? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. We're going to be moving into executive session. We will be coming back out to sort of conclude the rest of our meeting. We have a lot more actions on our board agenda that have to be taken care of. We will be in, I think we anticipated, what, 30 minutes? 60? 60 minutes on the executive session. Thank you.
Here.
Ms. Carrera?
Here.
Ms. Gandhi? Mr. Hyatt?
Here.
Mr. Lansky?
Here.
Mr. Lalansky? Dr. Miskowitz?
Here.
Ms. Jankowski?
Here.
President Cohen?
Here. Thank you. Okay, we apologize for the executive session taking longer than planned, and we appreciate your patience. We're going to continue with our agenda, and the next item that we have up is public comments. I have a sign-in sheet in front of me, so I'll call the name. Valentina Mendez. Ms. Mendez.
Hi, I'm here. No shock. Val Mendez, Morganville, New Jersey. Congratulations to the newly elected and sworn-in board members. Happy to see you there. Okay, so just a quick thing. I wanted to speak as a member now of the public and someone who previously served on this board. I do believe that tonight was a missed opportunity. The decision not to vote in Michael Lalansky or Danielle Belomo could have been a meaningful moment to turn the page, to show our community that despite past division, this board is willing to move forward together and rebuild trust. It's difficult to say, but it is also honest to acknowledge that divisions and friendships exist. Leadership, however, is measured by how we rise above these lines. This vote could have been a first step toward healing, collaboration, and setting a different tone for the year ahead. I do truly hope that this coming year brings less division and more intentional unity. I do also hope that the board takes a thoughtful and serious look at the resolution I proposed over the past few months, not as a point of contention, but as a framework to help guide respectful governance and forge a stronger, more collaborative path forward for the benefit of the entire community. But I do want to say congratulations to Mr. Cohen and Ms. Carraro. But I did give my piece, and I do wish that we had a different outcome for Mrs. Belomo and Mr. Lalansky. But good luck to all, and I hope you have a successful year ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Mendez, for your comments. And I will just say we appreciate all the service and all the work that you did for the last several years. So thank you so much for that. Is there anyone else who would like to? I don't have any other names on the sign-in sheet. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes.
Angela Colby-Basatsky, Marlboro. I just wanted to say congratulations to the new Board of Ed members for being sworn in, and I hope this is also another productive year. As I had mentioned in one of our previous Board of Ed sessions, I had requested that the attachments to all of the items be posted out front, and I think, Mr. Cohen, you had mentioned that you were going to be working on having those addendums available for the public during these sessions. So I'm hoping as the start of the new year, you will be able to provide those for us in advance. Thank you.
Thank you for that, and thank you for the reminder. We will definitely work on that. Is there anyone else who would like to come up and speak for first round of public comments? Seeing none, motion to close public comments.
Can we have discussion? My name was mentioned, so I just want to respond to the public comment. Valentina, thank you for those kind words. I too was hoping for a different outcome tonight. I want to be very clear. It's not about, it's not personal, but this role was about leadership, responsibility, and the consequences of the decisions that affected our board all of last year. And there was some very negative things that not only affected our board, but also affected our community, our district, and most importantly, our children. The word inclusion is thrown around this board more than I've ever heard it before in my life. It's thrown around often by the people that, preach it the most, but inclusion is not selective. Inclusion is not something that you offer to people only who you agree with to make you comfortable. Inclusion is for everyone, regardless of why you may or may not want to exclude them. And over the past year, under the leadership that was reelected, inclusion has been absent from the leadership. I hope that this year brings something different, although I'm actually not very hopeful because meetings under the presidency of last year were routinely out of control. Clear procedures were not enforced, board members were not protected, and lines were crossed, and there was no effort really at all to maintain any type of professionalism. And I watched this board support policies that, in my opinion, would hurt our families and children, ones that hurt many parent organizations that came to speak out about them, and volunteers that stand at the very core of this district. And I truly, truly pray that our leadership does not take that same path this coming year. We failed to produce meaningful work that had been opened up, your resolution included, and we allowed a lot of state NJDOE guidance into our schools. We accepted curriculum decisions and practices that have never should have been adopted. We passed an attendance policy that hurts our families, in my opinion, by prioritizing policy over common sense and making it so that the attendance policy is no longer student-centered or family-centered, but instead policy-centered by making it difficult to keep a sick child home. We had an entire year to explore polling locations and the removal of them from our schools. But when I tried to open that topic, it was quickly dismissed. I was paused because I was not creative enough to have that conversation, and that work just died on the vine, and that was work that I know many boards in the past had, really put a lot of effort into, so that was a real shame. I believe that the lack of change in leadership has failed this board, and I hope that I'm wrong, but I can say that just with things that I've already witnessed in the short time we've been here, I'm not confident. I just hope that as we approach this new year, leadership remembers that it's not about control, and it's definitely not about exclusion. It's not about comfort or ego, that it's more about accountability, inclusion, protection, and most importantly, progress, something that clearly last year we lacked. So I just wanted to thank you for opening this conversation up, for addressing the lack of ability to see beyond the divide, and to go ahead in the same pattern of the behavior that created such a hostile environment for the past year. Thank you.
Anyone else?
We can close if you want. I just wanted to respond to Val about the civility resolution.
Yeah. Let's complete our motion to close. Motion to close public comments. Mr. Hyatt, second. Ms. Gandhi, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll close public comments. And Ms. Carrero, you said you had a comment?
Val, I think you'd be very happy about this. I was, after we left that night, the board meeting, I took your framework, I took the time to process, add the things that I imagine, even things beyond what I thought I would add to it in regards to kind of slowing down, allowing reflection time, and adding that into the umbrella of civility because of how, the differences of how each person works. So I just wanted to say thank you because I actually went through the whole thing, and like I said before, I want to have collaboration, everyone work on a common document together. Sorry, Carrie, I don't mean to talk. So I just wanted to thank you for getting that started, and I don't want to let you down because it is in work. Thanks.
Yep, thank you. And I will say it, as I said at the last meeting that you were at, I'll say it again. I am extremely committed to a civility policy or a civility statement. I think a statement is very important, but words need to be louder than just being civil. Action. We need action, all right? We can't just say it. We really need to follow it. So.
So I was wondering, since I heard the resolution because I was in the audience, can I get a copy of the OG resolution since you made adjustments to it? So I can like compare, so I just need to be caught up. So if I can get, once I get my email, I guess, if I can get the original resolution so I can compare it and like, no, I know. I need to hand hold something to read it. That's how I process. And then to Danielle's point, now that I am on the board, the schools being closed twice a year for voting is a hot topic that's always been on my list. So I was wondering if that's something that we can revisit, or it can be broken down for me of just if it can be changed, if it can't be changed, because I've never been really privy to those internal conversations. So just that she brought it up, I'm a huge proponent of trying to change the venue of voting so our schools remain open and safe.
So last year, we met with the county office of, the county office of elections. Is that was Board of Elections, the county Board of Elections? We met with them last year. We walked them through this and what we were hoping to accomplish. They were supposed to follow up and provide us with documentation. After several attempts to sort of try to get that, we never got the documentation. We will continue to try that, but I also believe that they had set the stage, correct me, Michael, you were part of that conversation, but they had set the stage where there is opportunity for us to keep the schools open for Election Day, provided that there is a way to keep the polling location secure or isolated without having the appearance of police officers still in the building.
So the question that we can't get answered, if we're going to get right to the point of it, is we always have police officers in our building. It's our precedent that they're always here. So no one's given us the ruling yet whether it'd be okay if they be here Election Day, because they're not supposed to be certain feet from election sites. So that's where we're trying to get clearance on.
So
We have our
we're stuck
regular
in
police
like
officers
this.
that are always here every day. It's not out of the ordinary for them to be here on Election Day as well.
Correct. So we're stuck in this sort of like limbo right this moment, and we need to get the answer to that. If we can, if we are grandfathered in because we've always had police officers in the building, when they became polling sites, then they accepted our locations as they were currently set up, all right? That's what we need to sort of, and that's where we need attorneys to be, and it's the state attorney, the deputy attorney general, as well as our council have to sort of get that communication.
But am I to understand then that the answer, so in order to get to that point, have they given you a clear cut, you don't have an option of if we use your school or not? Because obviously not every school in New Jersey is utilized, so how come some towns can avoid having voting in their schools and some towns can't? Equally as big towns, equally as large towns that have 6 elementary and even high schools. I know personally well towns that go pre-K to 12 and not one of their school grounds is used for a voting venue. So have we been told officially you absolutely don't have a choice and they're going to be here? And then why can't that be taken to a higher level? I just don't understand how it's not equitable across the board in New Jersey. Why do our kids have to lose school and not every town has to?
I think the answer is yes. That's what they have continuously said, that we have, unless we have alternative locations for polling sites,
Well,
that
they read the law to us, pretty much, that they have the right to use the schools first, and the schools do not have the right to refuse.
Unless we
and
find another
unless we
venue?
have alternative locations other than the schools that satisfy the district voting requirements, because it's based upon the number of districts in the town, the number of polling locations you have, and then the requirements of each of the polling locations and of what a polling location looks like. Unless we can check all these boxes, the schools become the de facto, as I understand it, location.
Can I add something since it was my initial comment? My understanding of the conversation and when I served as the NJSBA delegate is that there was a resolution set forth, and I know that we like to bank on those a lot. We've used those in other instances. That points back to the fact that our schools can make that decision. That was made in May of 2024, I believe. So I'm uncertain as to why. As I said, we've pointed back to those resolutions several times before. We haven't looked at the recommendation and resolution from that meeting. So that's number one. Number two is before I was paused by Mr. Hyatt, I provided a list in the meeting with the mayor of some alternate locations. We only have to find 7 of them. It's not an astronomical amount. But like I said, I was paused, so I don't know where that went. Furthermore, I think that it's a disservice to our town and our community. A lot of parents can't get out to vote because their children are home with them, and that makes for a difficult freedom to choose, freedom to participate in the election. So I really hope that this is reconsidered, so that, like many other districts that surround us, our children are in school, and we reopen those polling locations, outside of our schools, or like we had talked about, utilizing security measures that I don't think I should talk about in open session to protect our children while still running elections.
So I think the only thing the only comment I want to make is that on the NJSBA resolution, it's not law. It's not state law. I think at the end of the day, we have to follow state law. And while the NJSBA resolution is intended to influence or encourage changes to the state law, it does not have a legal basis for us to follow. We still have to follow state law as it is written. And that's what the county is forcing us to follow. So with that, I just think that, I think it goes in the right direction, but it doesn't necessarily mean we have a basis to follow it.
Can I just ask you a follow-up to that? Because I'm not understanding completely. So are you suggesting that NJSBA is suggesting to break the law in the resolution?
No, I didn't suggest that they were suggesting to break the law. What I said was the NJSBA passed a resolution, and the resolution, as I read, encourages that the laws be changed, that schools have better control over the decisions for polling locations. But it doesn't change the law in the context of it still that the state law says that the polling locations, that the Board of Elections shall use the schools at their discretion, not the other way around.
So when we sought resolutions for like parent organizations and which dealt with law, what was your intention with those? Because I'm just trying to understand how it's different. Seeking resolution to have a case to draw back on to support one situation, but not supporting resolution to have a case to draw back on for another situation.
I don't think I'm understanding what you're asking.
We've sought the opinion of NJSBA on other laws and what their opinion was to guide our board. And then I just want to know if it's a case by case or, how that works, because there's a resolution that's present, and I'm sure for anybody who follows for a long time, I've fought this point for over a year now. A resolution was passed, recommendation by the NJSBA, schools have the prerogative, they have a case, and that is to be referenced. I don't know if we can pull that up, but we could do that later. And then we've also sought the same guidance for other issues. So I don't know, Mr. Gross, if you can possibly explain to me how that works. If the NJSBA has a resolution out that makes a suggestion for school boards, do we blanket follow that? Do we pick and choose when we follow that? Where do we go with those resolutions from NJSBA?
Depends on what the resolution says. The NJSBA is a lobbying organization. they pass resolutions all the time to encourage the legislature and the governor to do certain things, but they have no power to change statute. They only have the lobbying efforts to encourage people to change the statutes.
Okay, understood. So when we seek those out, we're just looking to see what they are trying to get changed in legislation. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, Mr. Lewanski?
Can I just want to make a general public comment. If I may make a suggestion, if we can go back to, consider going back to the way we used to do it, where people ask that comment, and if there is an answer from either the superintendent or yourself, or they mention a board member, they have to respond. We answer at that time, and they're given that 1 minute, that one question to come back at this. I want follow-up, because it seemed to be running much smoother when we did it that way. Instead of waiting, everybody waits to the end, everybody's sitting there and they're shaking because they want their answer. If they come to the microphone, they ask a question. If we have the answer for them, give it to them at that time. But our bylaws say they have one follow-up they're allowed to do. I believe we never changed that. I always found that to flow much easier. People get much less anxiety because they get their question either know they get an answer or they're not getting an answer, and it's on the spot. Answer's not going to change. If you're going to answer them, you can answer them now or later. You're going to answer them. So that's my suggestion. It's up to the rest of the board, but I'd rather see public session go back to the way it was.
Thank you. I just want to think about it from my perspective. Any other comments? Okay.
I couldn't get that on fast enough. I think that's, I like that idea. I think that it was very seamless when it was that way. So thank you for bringing that up, and just also for the mental health of the community who's like waited maybe sometimes hours to give them closure. Even if the closure is, I'll get in touch with you tomorrow. I don't have those numbers or that fact or, whatever. It's just validating them.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. We're going to move on with the agenda. We're up to personnel matters. Ms. Jankowski, would you like to do that?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolution for approval. 1, acting business administrator, board secretary. I so move.
Thank you. Is there a second for that? Mr. Lewanski, any discussions on this item? Seeing none. Mr. Gross, would you...
Ms. Bellomo?
Yes.
Sorry. Ms. Carrera?
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Mr. Lewanski?
Yes.
Dr. Miskowitz?
Yes.
Ms. Jankowski?
Yes.
President Cohen?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations, Chris.
Ms. Jelinski, would you like to join us now at the dais? You're relieved.
Thank goodness.
Before we move on to the next item on the agenda for organizational matters, now that Ms. Jelinski has joined us, and welcome, we're excited to have you. And as we had discussed earlier, we appreciate your long tenure.
Thank you.
And the fact that you're bringing a tremendous amount of continuity and stability to the district during this transition. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm excited.
And thank you for putting your name into the hat. We are going to, we do have a vacancy. And we did discuss this during our executive session about the process that the board would like to follow for the vacancy. And I believe I have board consensus to sort of share this. So what I will say is that Ms. Goldberg, who was a valid candidate and a valid winner, has elected not to be here today to be sworn in, and she has indicated to us that she will not be taking her seat. So we have to declare a vacancy. And we do have a process where Ms. Jelinski will have to send a board an email to me as the president and for alerting us. But while that process will take place, we are also, as a board, we want to begin to move that process along expeditiously. So the board has agreed that we would like the business administration and the board secretary to immediately post the vacancy. If at all possible, we'd love to get it done this week, if we can. We'd like to keep that vacancy open for at least 2 weeks. We've talked about a date of, I think, closing it around January 26th.
Yes, Monday.
Monday, the 26th.
Yes.
And then we'd like to begin to consider candidates, ask questions, interview them in public at our first meeting in February, which will be a workshop meeting on February 3rd.
Exactly.
And at that point, you know, once we complete our questions, the board will have an opportunity to deliberate. Deliberations can take place in exec, but any voting or any interviewing will be done in public session.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And we will post it definitely this week, and I'll work with Michael, and we'll post.
You may have to pull that a
Oh,
little
sorry.
closer.
We'll post it. We'll also make sure it's on the district website, social media, the district social media page, in the building, so we'll really get it out there.
And we have to put it in the newspaper.
Yes, the Asbury Park Press, we will put it in.
And do we have to notify the county superintendent?
I don't think so, but, I don't think so. I will double
Okay.
check, but, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, I didn't know whether or not there was a
Yeah,
notification process.
as long as we did it, I think within the 65 days, it's fine.
And that is an important point. The board is taking action immediately. We do have 65 days to fill the vacancy. And if we did not fill the vacancy in 65 days, then there is a process where the county superintendent can potentially
Correct.
fill that vacancy.
That is correct.
Potentially.
They will.
Once the 65 days elapses, the board has no control.
Well, we don't want to give up that control. So we will be moving forward with that. Any other?
I forgot to just clarify, if the interview takes place on February 3rd, will they take the seat February 3rd? I've seen it done both ways, where they get it February, like on the date, but then it doesn't take effect until the next meeting. Will it begin immediately?
My experience in the 2 times that I've seen it done in this board, they sat immediately. They got sworn in, and the BA swore
I
them in.
personally had to wait. Like it was at the next month that I did it, so I just wasn't, I
I
just wanted
didn't
to make sure.
experience yours.
Well, welcome
But
aboard.
you're right. I mean, I would prefer them taking the seat immediately.
Okay, I agree. I just wanted to make sure that that was out there so the candidate can expect to have a very long night.
One of many. Okay. Moving on to organizational matters. Mr. Lolansky, would you like to read that?
Organizational matters. Superintendent of Schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, attendance officer. 2, affirmative action school and classroom practices. 3, affirmative action officer employment practices. 4, district section 504 coordinator. 5, Title IX coordinator. 6, meeting schedule. 7, committee of the whole and regular public meeting dates. 8, form of agenda, workshop meeting. 9, form of agenda, regular meeting. I so move.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Ms. Carrero? Any discussions on this item? Seeing no discussions, Ms. Jelinski.
Okay. Mrs. Belomo?
Yes to all, no to 5.
Mrs. Carrero?
Yes to all.
Mrs. Gandhi?
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt?
Yes.
Mr. Lelansky?
Yes.
Mrs. Jankowski?
Yes.
Dr. Miskowitz?
Yes.
And Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to financial and business operation matters. Ms. Carrera, would you read that item?
Financial and business operations matters. The superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, banking institution signatories. 2, approval of depositories. 3, petty cash accounts. 4, authorized signatures. I so move.
Thank you. Can I have a second for this item? Ms. Jankowski. Any discussions on any of these, on this item? Seeing no discussions, Mr. Linsky.
Okay. Mrs. Carrero,
Yes.
Mrs. Gandhi,
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Lalansky,
Yes.
Mrs. Jankowski,
Yes.
Dr. Miskowitz,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
and Mrs. Belomo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to policy and development and community relations matters. Mr. Hyatt, would you read that?
Sure. The superintendent of schools submits the following resolution for approval. 1, governance manual. I so move.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Ms. Carrero. Any discussions on this item? Seeing no discussions, Ms. Dolinsky.
Okay. Mrs. Gandhi,
Yes.
Mr. Hyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Lalansky,
Yes.
Mrs. Jankowski,
Yes.
Dr. Miskowitz.
Yes.
Governance? Sorry. Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mrs. Belomo,
Yes.
and Mrs. Carrera.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that completes our board actions. We're up to the next item on our agenda, which is the second round of public comments. Do you have I don't have a list, so is there anyone who would like to sort of offer comments for the second round? Ms. Mendez.
I might need you, Jenna. No, I got it. It's on. Hi, Val Mendez, Morganville, New Jersey. Just a couple of things on policy 0167, because that's actually about public participation in board meetings. We did change it as a committee in February of 2023 to make sure that the public felt seen and heard. So I want to just echo the sentiment that Mr. Lalansky said. That came about because the public did not feel like they had the opportunity when they gave their first 3 minutes of public comments. The public did not feel like they could ever come back and say anything. So we did revise it to add another minute. What it does say is that the board or administration, this is in number 4, may respond to questions or comments after such individual community members are finished speaking after their 3 minutes. The community member will then be afforded that further 1-minute response like I know we do. But we added that to Mr. Lalansky's point for them to get a response at that moment in time. Now again, it does say may, not required to respond, which I have seen happen a lot, that they don't get a response, but the community really didn't feel heard. So it would be great if we could, to echo your point, go back to that place of where people can speak, some sort of acknowledgement of, I appreciate your comment, we will email you, or maybe you don't have the answer, but that was why that was put in place, and I would hate to see us move away from that so that the community doesn't feel heard. So I just wanted to say that it was revised in February of 2023 by the former policy committee for that reason. So I just want to point that out, and I look forward to you reviewing my application for the open seat and for giving it a fair chance, since I did have 6,500 votes, which are about 64,000 or 100 plus the other 8 votes that the next person would receive. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mendez, for sharing and for your interest. Anyone else would like to?
Can I address Ms. Mendez as well, or I'm not allowed?
I'm sorry.
Can I respond to her as well, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So about your open communication, I know, Mr. Cohen, that we had gotten more emails since the last meeting that have gone unanswered, and I was just wondering what the board's practices are going to be under this year's leadership for answering our constituents.
I think we'll work with the Communications Committee, and we'll definitely come back to you and come back to the board on that. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Anyone else for public comments? Seeing none, motion to close public comments. Ms. Gandhi, second. Mr. Lansky, thank you very much. There is no other items for executive session tonight, so we will not be going back into executive session. So that would allow us to bring the meeting to conclude. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Hayek, can I have a second? Ms. Gandhi, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Congratulations.